I'll start with you, Gans. If Arsenal, let's go two scenarios, right? Arsenal can win the league, and that'll be mission accomplished. But then, if Arsenal finish trophyless again, but run Man City to the last day, so no Champions League, no Carabao, no FA Cup, no league, but you just get beaten by a better Man City side. Like, does the project continue, or is it time to have serious conversations about the project?
I think one of the main reasons Poch left, and I don't think he was kicked out, I think he left probably quite mutually, is because they wanted someone fully in that project mode, right? Poch probably had ideas of wanting to keep Gallagher, these players that we're taking out, people who have been at Chelsea who are a bit older, whereas you can see what we're doing now is young players. I mean, you can't tell me what we've done with Sterling. You can't tell me he hasn't performed, right? You can't tell me he's been worse than Mudryk, right? The reason we kick him out is number one, he's on high wages.
We are back. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Debates Never Die. Really hope you're enjoying the content. Really hope you guys are subscribing, letting us know what you guys want. We care about what you guys think about the episode. Let us know what you guys think. But I'm here with Regans, Les again, to talk about another thing that we've kind of been discussing on the side of the episodes. Something we want to bring to the podcast to kind of get everyone's impact on, because it's not necessarily a debate, but something that I want to start talking about to kind of understand where everyone's head is at. And that is this concept of a project in football. We hear about it in relation to certain managers, but then other teams and other managers have other mandates, right? And it's basically like, are you there to win or are you there to build? And what I'm here to ask you guys and hear from you guys is, like, where do we draw that line? Like, which clubs are currently, of the top European clubs, like, are currently in a project phase versus are in a building phase versus are just, it's time to win. Top of mind, I think it's time to win at Real Madrid. Right. It's time to win at Man City. Is it time to win at Arsenal? Is it time to win at Barcelona? Is it time for them to compete? Because what is the difference between Arteta being given 5 years to kind of, or 4.5 years to build the squad and take it to a level of competing versus a manager that comes in like Hansi Flick? Should he be given 5 years to build, or is his expectation going to be a thing? And then is it fair for in that environment, a Barcelona environment where we know there's so much chaos, to place that expectation on him to take Barca to a certain level because of their history, whereas Arteta, you see the benefits of being given time. That's what we're going to be discussing today. And I will start us off, maybe let's keep it close to home at Arsenal, with where Arsenal are now. We can say they're probably the best example of a project, right? Arteta's got time to dismantle the squad, re-put together the squad he wants, get them playing the football he wants, and he has come close on 2 occasions to winning the league. So there has been progress. But I said 2 weeks ago in the episode that Arsenal have to win something this year.
Correct, something. Yeah.
They cannot go another season without a trophy. And I'll start with you, Gans. If Arsenal, let's go two scenarios, right? Arsenal can win the league, and that'll be mission accomplished. But then, if Arsenal finish trophyless again, but run Man City to the last day, so no Champions League, no Carabao, no FA Cup, no league, but you just get beaten by a better Man City side. Like, does the project continue, or is it time to have serious conversations about the project?
Honestly, I think it's already time to have serious conversations about the project.
Okay.
Right? Because I feel like, Arteta wouldn't have gotten away with a lot of things if he wasn't managing Arsenal. I feel like if he was managing any other top club, he would have been sacked, I think, in his second season. I think there was a season.
I think they finished 8th. They won the FA Cup and finished 8th, and then they finished 8th again.
Yeah. And I was calling for him to be sacked at that time. I feel like a lot of people were.
I remember.
To be fair. It wasn't
I remember.
Just me. A lot of people were, big. Right? So I agree with you. I think we have to win the league this year. I don't think we have to win a trophy. If we just win the FA Cup.
So it's league or bust?
Yeah, for me it's league or bust. Right?
So you're saying for Arteta?
Yes, for Arteta. Because I've always felt that, Arteta is never going to be the guy who's going to take us over that hurdle. I feel like he was necessary, to get the boys believing that, we can actually win this thing. But actually winning the Prem, I don't know. I'm not a believer, personally.
So if he does win the Prem, would you say he's overachieved or deliver what he should have, given what the time that he's had and the money that he's been able to spend, and not just money as in like a big like spend fee, but like it's being able to spend on the players he wants.
Yeah.
And like, so are you saying he would have delivered or overachieved if he does bring it?
Delivered.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if he delivers a league, are you now saying, does that take Arsenal out of project? Now they're a
100%.
winning club, and the expectation is to win year in, year out.
Yes.
So
Yes.
so that's now we've got clear evidence to say that okay, by the end of this season it'll be 2025. That's Arteta basically 4.5 years, close to 5 years of managing Arsenal. He might only win one Premier League. Is that a successful project or not?
I think it is.
Given where you started.
Yeah, given where you started and given the fact that, we're competing against Man City.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then let's take it to the other side of London, to Les' side. Like, you're on manager number what now? In the last how many years? Like
Just even under Todd Bowley, I think it's 6 now.
6 managers under
Yeah.
the new ownership.
I think Enzo's played under 5 or 6 different managers.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I think he's also lost more games than he's won for Chelsea, but that's not relevant.
Yeah.
So now, from a Chelsea point of view,
Sure.
Chelsea for the last maybe decade and a half, were always relevant because they were always winning.
Facts.
They would deliver an FA Cup,
Yeah.
a League Cup, challenge for the league. They would fall down, deliver a League Cup, deliver FA Cup, challenge
Champions
for the
League, Europa, yeah.
I don't think Chelsea are there right now. And if you agree with me, then you're saying that, are you then saying Maresca is in a project phase now?
100%. I think one of the main reasons Poch left, and I don't think he was kicked out, I think he left probably quite mutually, is because they wanted someone fully in that project mode, right? Poch probably had ideas of wanting to keep Gallagher, these players that we're taking out, people who have been at Chelsea who are a bit older, whereas you can see what we're doing now is young players. I mean, you can't tell me what we've done with Sterling. You can't tell me he hasn't performed, right? You can't tell me he's been worse than Mudryk, right? The reason we kick him out is number one, he's on high wages and he's a bit older.
Yeah.
So you can see our recruitment, we're trying to go super young. Enzo Maresca is not proven in the Premier, trying to go young with the manager, young with the players. So we're definitely in that project phase. I think we fielded against City, I think it was the second youngest side in an opening game in the Premier League history. Like the average age was 23 or something, even younger than that. So you can see the direction we're going. It's definitely a project. I've been saying this for a while that we won't see the proper Chelsea. I don't even know what's going on now, but we won't see the proper Chelsea maybe in the next 2 or 3 years, because everyone's so young, because there's a lack of Premier League experience, etc., etc. So yeah.
So now I have a question for you. If you're accepting that Chelsea are in the project phase, do you think that the manager, currently Maresca, is being set up in a way where he can take this project to a point of success? Because I'll tell you, I don't think so.
100%.
I think the way the squad has been put together now, and I think that level of expectation of Chelsea is, if he doesn't win this year, fine. But like, if he doesn't get this squad competing for Man United trophies, FA Cup, Carabao's next year, I think you sack him. So I guess my question is it fair to talk about this manager's building a project with this team when we know that there's so many things that can change? Like Maresca's pressure, we're hearing Rindai say it's league or bust for Arteta, which means after 5 years delivering one league. Whereas if Maresca doesn't take Chelsea forward, like he could lose his job. But like, so how long do we give managers for projects? And should we even still be talking about projects when realistically, the way these clubs are built right now, that managers become available and it's so quick to change managers and players are now used to changing managers all the time. Like, is it even worth, like, what's the next club that you can think of that's going into a project? So do you think it's fair to say that Maresca is now in a project phase and that he should be judged according to that?
I do hear you in that managers become available like this. I mean, someone could get sacked here. Chelsea might think this is the only opportunity to get him. Let's go. He's a better fit for the club, for the team, for the players. So it is tricky. I won't lie. I just think with the manager turnover at Chelsea, we know that how ruthless the board is, right? If there's targets that they might have had before, if they don't reach those targets, your head is going to be on the chopping block. So whatever those targets are end of the season, whether it's top 6, we came 6th last season, is it improving on that? Because I do know one thing we do know for sure, just sticking with Chelsea, we still don't have a front of shirt sponsor. And the reason being that the board keeps saying is that we're not in Champions League yet. We want Champions League money. So once we get into Champions League, we'll get a front of shirt sponsor. We'll get more money in that way. So I do think in their heads, which is very delusional, that they think this team is good enough for top 4 or at least top 5, depends on coefficient. But they think this team is good enough to qualify for Champions League, which I don't think so yet. So maybe that's what Maresca is going to be judged against. But we'll see, man. We'll see.
For me, I think history is important, and history of a club is important, right? When I think about projects. So, like you mentioned, under the Roman era, Chelsea were winning, almost
routinely.
Yeah, they're winning almost every season. And I feel like once you've got into that culture of winning, it's hard to be like, okay, cool, project phase. I think United went through the same thing after Ferguson left. You guys were used to winning all the time, and I think only like now or maybe in the last 2-3 years you guys have accepted that we're not the team that we used to be, right? And that's why I think it can get a bit tricky. And I think these clubs actually need to sometimes you need to take a step back and be like, okay, you know what, we're not the club that we used to be. And I think Chelsea need to go through that phase of accepting that, you know what, this is actually our rebuilding stage. United too. I feel like United have kind of, especially with extending Ten Hag, it's kind of a sign to be like, okay, cool.
We're not gonna.
Yeah. We're willing to wait it out.
And thank you for bringing me to Ten Hag, because this is the one that has me as a United fan, I wouldn't say concerned, but like conflicted, right? Yeah. Because like at what point do you say like, no, Ten Hag, like we're not seeing signs, versus no, damn, this is still going to take 2 to 3 years for it to come together. And it's hard to look at Ten Hag and be like, yo, he still needs 2 years, when you see the Brighton manager, De Zerbi, and the new guy hit the ground running. Oliver Glasner at Palace, Emery at Villa, even Ange at the beginning of his Spurs reign. Like you can get these guys to play football and play winning football, and he's got resources. So if we're talking about the project of Ten Hag, and I don't want to spend too much time on United because we talk about them all the time, but like, if where do you see United now? You just said like United have kind of accepted, okay, we're not competitive right now. But if Ten Hag wins the Europa League this season, that's a good thing for him, right? It's a very good thing for him. So, but like, is that now another step in the Ten Hag project, or is that him now at his ceiling? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. For me, I wouldn't take that as another step, right? And that's why I think this chat is a bit tricky, because, the fact that United fans are saying we're okay with Ten Hag because he won the FA Cup, and that also shows, where you guys are.
Yeah.
You get me? Because that shouldn't be something,
our level. It's not our level.
That's such a level, right? And even if you look at Barca, sorry to change the topic, but like if you look at Barca, for example, Xavi won the league and he still got sacked, I think, the next
season.
And that I respect Barca for that, because it shows, what they think their level is.
Yeah.
You can imagine if United won one league. Ten Hag
statues of Ten Hag.
You would never leave.
Would never leave. So environment does play a role, right?
Yeah.
So we're happy to say that at each project has to be assessed differently.
Yeah.
You can't look at Ten Hag and compare his project to Arteta, because the two clubs are different.
Exactly.
What they expect and what they need is different. Like Arteta not winning, you won the FA Cup, him not doing anything until winning a league, there's no issues with that.
But I think the commonalities of those two is that you're starting to see, with Arteta more so, but the squad is built in their image now. All of these signings Ten Hag has made, it's his players, right?
Yeah.
In his image. Arteta, same thing. So that's why when you say, like, not who's to blame or whatever, but these are Arteta's players now. Like, whether it's a project or not, these are the players you think are going to help you succeed.
Yeah.
So no more excuse, like, ball out. Same thing with Arteta, as you said. Like, all of those players are in his image. So if you believe these are the players you want to bring in, you believe they can help you win now. So I think those are the things that are the commonalities between the two.
And sorry, for me, I feel like with the project, how I assess a project is, the mentality of the players in the squad, right? And I think that's why we've given Arteta a bit more grace, because you can see, every season, the players are getting more mentally strong. And that's my issue with Ten Hag. I don't think, any of his players, I can say, have become stronger mentally and have actually got that winning mentality.
It's a really good point, actually.
Yeah, that's fair enough. what I want to ask you guys to do now is take your fan hat off and put your like club owner hat on, right? Because like you've just said, Les, if you're gonna give Arteta 5 years to turn this Arsenal team into his image, if you're gonna give Ten Hag 3 years to sign every Eredivisie player he wants, you know what I'm saying? Like, at what point are you, as a club owner, are you not thinking like, this has to work? Because if Arteta doesn't win and you're talking about dismantling the project, if Ten Hag, you know, goes, because Ten Hag can lose his job for losing like 5 games in a row, but we're still stuck with his players.
Yeah.
Now, you have to start again. You know what I'm saying? So at what point are the clubs to blame for like, I don't want to say being sold dreams, but like, should clubs be more responsible to say, you know what, you're not here for the long run. You're not here for the, and we can't sign everyone you want because you might not be here in 3 years.
Yeah.
But I hear you 100%. But I do think maybe this is a conspiracy that I'm online too much, you know. But you guys got Van Nistelrooy as your assistant manager.
Yeah.
I do think what the business United is doing is way much cleverer, much smarter than you've done in the past.
Yeah.
And maybe they see him as the heir. I mean, he was a manager at PSV, right? To go from being a head coach, a manager, to an assistant, potentially they see that, okay, if this doesn't work with Ten Hag, we've got a ready-made replacement. Yeah, he's worked with the players, he knows the players. So maybe I think, just as that conspiracy, I think United have done a good job in that succession plan. If you take it to Arsenal, if this doesn't work with Arteta, I think, yeah, they have to look elsewhere.
Yeah.
They have to look outside of that.
But I think, you know, the difference with Arsenal is that even if Arteta does leave, you know, I feel like the next manager is coming in a much better position, right?
100%.
Whereas if Ten Hag leaves, I mean...
But then, if Arteta leaves for not winning with this team, are you replacing him and giving that next manager the expectation to win?
Yes, 100%.
So it has to be a winning manager.
It has to be a winning manager.
And then what happens if you don't when you sack him and then you fall into a United loop? So I hope that happens. And we'll come back this time next year. I hope they have a new manager, and then Arsenal will be the new United.
Just a spiral of coaches.
Yeah, just a spiral of coaches because it's not nice. I'll be honest. When we started the season with Ten Hag, I don't love Ten Hag. I don't hate Ten Hag, but I was like, thank God we've got the same manager.
Okay,
continuity.
Like, just that element of like it's the same guy. Like now we can actually put real expectations on it. Like we can actually be really demanding. It's better than like a new guy coming in because the new guy still has to learn the league. The new guy still has to get spanked by Liverpool. The new guy still has to go through all of that. Where Ten Hag, we forgave you for 7-0. We forgave you for some of the things. We forgave you for Brighton. We forgave you for Brentford. Like you're still here because people here believe in you. But like you have to repay our faith now. Whereas if we sacked him and got a new guy, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Pochettino, you know what I'm saying? It's a fresh start again for the players, for the fans, and like you can't keep doing that. That's unsustainable. But
100%.
Thank you for bringing up Barca because I wanted you to take it outside of England. We talk a lot about England, but like Hansi Flick, right? He's in a very short time at Bayern achieved incredible success. So he's got a high reputation as a winning manager. He knows how to win, and he's got a clear style of football that follows him. It didn't work out with Germany, but I think everyone rates Hansi Flick, right?
Yeah.
Are Barca project, or should they be gearing up to win? And yes, they're taking on the new Galacticos, but should Barca every year Barca should try win the league, but should Barca fans realistically be sitting there thinking, you know, Hansi Flick, you must deliver? Because Xavi, like you said, Xavi did win the league. Xavi won the league, got Barca back into the Champions League. Like, are they bringing Hansi Flick in to build over a couple of years, or is it go time?
I personally think it's go time for him, and I say that because I do think Barca, they have the potential to, you know, win big trophies. Maybe not La Liga.
They're expected to. Bro.
But even if, you know, you look back at last season, they shouldn't have lost to PSG in the Champions League, right? And if they beat PSG, the final should have been Madrid versus Barca because, I mean, who did they play?
PSG Dortmund.
Dortmund.
And I feel like that's a big reason as to why Xavi got sacked, because Barca fans looked at that draw and were like, no, man, you know, we can win this thing, right? And I feel like if any club was to beat Madrid in Champions League, besides City, it would be Barca, because I feel like in terms of like that pedigree and that respect that they have in Europe, you know, they could have
history
been
matters.
So I think they definitely got Hansi Flick to win. They may give him one season, you know, to try things out, but I do think he's expected to win something.
I think that's strict. I think that's a lot of pressure on the team, not Flick. I get Flick, he won a treble at Bayern, right? Or
He won everything, Ross.
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Won everything.
he did.
I just look at the team. I watched them. They played Bilbao yesterday. I don't know if you saw the bench, but it's very, as Tabso said, you're going against Galacticos, number one, and most of the players in that team are La Masia graduates. They're 17. Kubasi at the back is 17. Yamal, yes, he won the Euros. He's a great player, but these guys are young. It's La Masia. That's a lot of pressure to put on them. I get the stature of the club. You at Barca, you're always expected to win and run. If not win, you run Madrid close, and you go far in the Champions League. But I just think the squad is maybe a bit behind on that. There's a lot of good young players, but they're young. They're La Masia graduates. It's the first time. There's a DM that they played, Bernal, who looks really good. People are saying Busquets regen, but it's the first time
like
we're seeing
the fourth one.
Exactly. Kubasi, this is probably his first full season. He broke in last year. Lamal, again, this is probably the first season where it's on him now. He had a great season last season, but now he's a Euro winner. It's on his back now, right? They still have Ferran Torres, who I don't think is great. So I think the squad isn't there. If you come up against Galacticos, I mean, and Tabso has said that Atletico's also, they've made really good signings. They've got Alvarez, Conor Gallagher, who fits that system. So for me, yes, the coach, right? I look at that project, the coach, they brought him in probably to win, but when you look at the squad, I don't know if the coach, the squad, man, I think they're just a few years out.
Okay.
I'm with you on this one, guys. And I think it's harsh, but the reality is some clubs are just expected to win. And like you said, until you get to the point where it goes on for so long where you have to adjust your expectations, I think that winning expectation is still there at Barcelona. And I think because Xavi was able to win with a squad that wasn't that much great, it was better than this one, was it? We can discuss that another time. But Xavi won.
Yeah.
Barca should be competitive at all times. So I'm going to go with you. I think Flick has to deliver something.
Yeah.
I don't want...
In season one.
Classico wins. Yeah. Win the Copa del Rey.
Yeah.
Go to the Champions League semis and give... You know what I'm saying? But he has to deliver.
Yeah.
And I think just because of that comes from the expectation of Barcelona. And I think the environment is different. We're talking about England where at any given time there are 6 to 7 to 8 really good teams that can cause each other trouble. I mean, eight teams are fighting for 4 Champions League spots, whereas in Spain, it's 3. It's factually it's 3. Thank you for who was the team from last season? I even forgot about them.
Girona.
Thank you, Girona, for everything you gave us. But there's no one who has any expectation
That team's
for Girona.
been torn apart.
Exactly.
There's no one there anymore.
So, I think for Flick, it is go time for him.
Yeah.
So now let's just take it to we've discussed in kind of England, we've discussed Spain. But a team that didn't have a great season last year that is under pressure to win all the time is Bayern Munich in Germany. Bayer Leverkusen had to do amazing things to kind of dethrone Bayern, who've been winning leagues for the past 11, 12, 13 years. They've won that. Their minimum is the league, right?
Yeah.
But you look at where they are now, and there's probably a strong argument to say that Bayern are more project than go for it, which I don't think anyone in Munich would accept.
Yeah.
Right? Not anyone in the board, not anyone in the crowd, and I don't think the players should accept that either, right? But you've got a manager who's done nothing.
Untested.
Is untested at that level. Untested at that level in Vincent Kompany. A team that has been slowly but surely dismantled. You've got, De Ligt and Mazraoui have left. Neuer's very old. Kimmich is past his best.
Goretzka might leave.
Goretzka's on, Goretzka, Sane, Gnabry, guys who are not at that level. You could, they're not kind of fit to win, yet they have to win. So how can someone look at us and say, oh no, Bayern is a project, you have to give company time. You don't get time at Bayern. If you think you don't get time at United, if you think you don't get time at Chelsea, Bayern, it's that company next week if they don't want him. That's what they would do. So do you think, that's why I ask, when so many things change for these managers, is it even fair to say Bayern in a project phase? Bayern, I don't think have ever been a project in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Bayern are go for it. So now, when you judge company as a manager, what his rubric has to be different from Flick's, has to be different from Arteta's, no? Or do you just he's in the fire now, and he's expected to deliver like guys in the past? Where do you stand?
I think he's in the fire, bro. Because I think before accepting that job, what comes with it.
Exactly.
There's certain clubs, you get me. Madrid is one of those clubs where if you're going to manage Madrid, you know
There's no such
there's
thing
no
as a
time.
project.
No, there's no time for
Yeah,
project.
yeah.
You get me? And I think he took a very big risk by going to Bayern, and I feel like he knows he has to win, so he has to win.
Yeah.
And he's already on fraud watch after those videos came out.
We were saying it his own players.
Those Burnley.
I said, if he tries that shit with Musiala, he's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's gonna get rid of him. They'll send him to Russia, I swear.
Elise, imagine Elise trying to swear to Elise. Elise was like, what the hell?
So I think he's in the fire personally.
Yeah,
I don't know
facts.
what you think, Liz.
Yeah, no, I think he's in the fire. I mean, the way Bayern burnt out last season was miraculous. I think not just for company, for Kane's sake. Kane needs.
He's in the fire too.
Yeah.
How did we not think of him
Yeah.
in the last episode when
No.
we were speaking about,
players with
Yeah.
their seasons.
He
Kane.
doesn't need to show us anything,
That's a
bro.
conversation for another
He
day.
scored
Come
40
on,
goals
That's the
and they
problem.
let him down.
No.
His team let him down.
No.
Anyways.
You know the narrative is always going to
Yeah.
be there.
And the Euro. Speak on the Euro.
Exactly.
Anyways, yeah, you were saying.
Kane lover, this guy. So yeah, no, I just think he's in the fire. He knows what job he took. Yes, he might not be there at that level. He's never coached at that level before, but I think he knows what he signed up for, and everyone else in Germany knows what he signed up for. Anything but a Bayern W is going to be very, very shaky when we look back at that season. Yeah, when we look at Kane and company.
Leave Kane. We're not talking about Kane. We're talking about projects. But I think, yeah, to wrap this one up, gents, it's an open discussion. What I'd like to ask the audience is to think, like, are we at the stage now where we actually need to start judging managers differently based on their specific context? Because I feel like in the past, we're very keen to go head to head. You know, this guy won, so this guy must win. The guy before you did this, so you must do this. They spent this much, so you spent this much, so you must do. But in reality, if you don't take context into account of where the club is coming from, you end up with like a lot of shaky narratives where you're contradicting yourself or it's not fair. So just let us know in the comments what you think. Do you think that we are being too soft, that, you know, at certain clubs your job is to win, or should we actually just change the way we look at things, be more open-minded about, like, you know, this guy has 2 years to win versus this guy's 5 years to win, and is it even realistic? Now we know that, you know, qualifying for the UCL has huge financial implications for the clubs. They spend so much money on transfers. Like, is it even realistic for club owners to accept not winning? That'll never happen. So maybe we've just wasted half an hour of everyone's time, because ultimately you need to win or you must buy. But yeah, you guys let us know. Thank you for tuning in. Another great episode. Rindai, Les, thank you so much, gents.
Thank you.